Iost. So Iost is all about the tokenizing of real world assets. Now, they've been around for sort of 7 years, and they've actually made pretty good headway in terms of what they're trying to do. Last bull cycle, they did pretty well. Initially, when they launched it back in 2018, they did amazingly well. We want to take a look at where this can go this year. That's going to be based on kind of how much momentum can real world asset tokenization get this year. Now, before I get into any of that, this spreadsheet shows the first 26 coins that I did videos about on the channel. In each of the videos, I showed myself buying up all of these cryptos. These were coins that I thought were going to make a lot of money, which is obviously why I bought them. You can see what they were all worth when I recorded my videos, and these are the highs these cryptos hit 16 months on. And these are what your profits would have been if you'd have put $100 into them. So 100 into every single one in that time would have made you over 123 grand. Now, from a $2,600 investment, that's pretty damn good in less than a year and a half. Obviously, you don't have that long. We're in a bull cycle right now. If you've got coins you're not happy with, have a look at CopyMyCrypto.com. So this is the site I run where I share all the coins I own with my members. So when I find a crypto that I think is really good and is going to make a lot of money, I tell my members about that crypto. I tell my members the price that I'm going to buy that crypto at. When I sell one of the coins that I own, I tell my members the coin that I'm going to sell and the price that I'm going to sell at. So all my members get in and out of coins at the exact same price as me. They make the exact same profit. Of course, the added bonus is they have no work to do at all. And if you go onto my site, you'll see some of the profits my members have made. You can see some of my successes. You can see some of my members' testimonials. These are all public record. You can go and see old videos on this channel and you can verify all of them. And if after doing that you like what you see and you want to hear more, you want to hear the daily market updates I give my members, or you simply want to find out the coins I think are going to be the big winners of this cycle, like I predicted with Phantom back in 2020 when no one was talking about it. All you have to do to find out about the coins I own is join up on the site. Now, Iost. So, sitting at a market cap of 93 million, volume's around 7 million, so the volume isn't amazing for what its market cap is. On its good days, it will do 100 million. On its slow days, it does roughly what it's doing right now. It is on Binance. It isn't on Coinbase. So possible Coinbase listing would cause this to rise. There are 25 billion tokens, and they do have unlocks on a quite regular basis. So as an example, June 8th, they have a 504 million Iost unlock. Now that is only worth around $2 million, but it is worth noting. And a proportion of that is for node and community rewards. A proportion of that is for DAOs, developer and asset manager grants, ecosystem incentives and airdrops and bounties. But what is good is it isn't like the early investors that do dump. The dump is less likely on that one. They're a multi-chain infrastructure. They're specialized in real-world asset tokenization and Web3 payment solutions. Now, I'm not hugely bullish on Web3 payment solutions. I've heard and have seen that for the last 9 years. My personal perspective is that I don't see that being a big thing right now. I think we are so far away from so many big businesses really starting to enter into blockchain tech that the payment solutions aren't necessarily a big thing. You got to remember, businesses right now probably very hesitant to enter into crypto and blockchain tech. Number one, the regulatory uncertainty is ridiculous, but also at the moment, most areas within blockchain tech have a DLT. Everyone can see what's happening. And as a business, you don't necessarily want your competition to see everything that's happening. That gives them an advantage against you and the products you build. So we're still not really there at that point of huge businesses starting to just flock into crypto. But Iost itself has been built on 7 years of blockchain development. They have over 930 million processed transactions. That's probably north of $1 billion now. Why is that in that? Oh, it's because I'm clicking the wrong one. That'll be why. The core members of Iost are a team from Princeton and Harvard and CMU and MIT. Terry Wang, Arthur Tang, Blake Zheng, Yudi, and Mike Wu. All, again, good resumes. You can have a look at all of them. Tang co-founded 2 unicorn startups, as well as working as a quantitative trader at Citadel. Good, but yeah, like I said, good resumes across the board. They distinguish itself as a specialized BNB chain layer 2 solution, bringing unprecedented efficiency to financial markets through an innovative liquidity engine. Now, when we dive into Iost itself, 958 million transactions, so not quite a billion yet, but soon enough. Transactions per second at the moment is 4, but their all-time high is 3,388, which is good. Across the last sort of 24 hours, 7.4 is the highest. Now, as I said, they are designed for unlocking real-world assets on 3.0. They're the first multi-chain real-world asset infrastructure, backed by good names, working with good names, founded by veterans and top institutions. Now, tokenizing of real-world assets, that's a big thing, right? OKX literally released an article about this today. So they're talking about the seismic shift as tokenization of real-world assets is beginning to gain momentum. Larry Fink, who is the CEO of BlackRock, stated in January of 2024 that the next step going forward will be the tokenization of financial assets. And that means every stock, every bond will be on one general ledger. This transformation promises enhanced liquidity, global accessibility, and operational efficiency. It makes it a game changer for financial institutions and investors alike. I mean, I've always said, and I think most people realize that the tokenization of real-world assets means bringing a lot of money onto the table. Like the amount of money. I mean, you think about properties alone, trillions of dollars, and it's just there. It's just there in the real estate sector. It's not being used. The issue I have always said, however, is how in the hell is this a regulated space? That is going to be a nightmare. Think about tokenizing a property. Say you tokenize a property, say you then put it into a DeFi protocol. Say that DeFi protocol starts struggling, or the underlying asset, as in, let's say we have a property crash back at like what we had back in 2008. What happens to the underlying property? How does that work? There are so many ways that this can go wrong. And I think regulating this kind of market is going to be nightmarish. I think truly nightmarish, and which is why, while I am bullish on real-world asset tokenization long-term, I truly am, I think this is going to be a regulatory nightmare. I think we have a very long process before certain assets are tokenized. I think we can see a world where stocks can be tokenized relatively quickly. I think comparative to a lot of other assets, I think that's one that can be. Same way as precious metals. I got a kilogram of silver right here. That should be fairly easy to tokenize. But when we start talking about things like property, I think it gets immensely complicated. And I don't think we're going to truly see tokenization until that process is clear for all asset types. But we are going to see financial institutions investing heavily into this space. There is no question about that, because they are the ones sitting on the assets. They are the ones that want to make those assets work for them. Not really your everyday person. Yes, there'll be plenty of people that rent out properties. They're not the people that, and maybe some of them want to tokenize a property, but all in all, most people got no interest. It's the institutions. So we will see heavy investment into this space. Iost is at the forefront of that in terms of what they are trying to build. I mean, as an example, the $300 billion bond market and traditional finance market, can bring that into borderless, liquid, programmable assets. There's a huge plus in that. But they really, like, the reality is there are two ways that Iost, and to be honest, real world asset sector grows. And it's pretty simple. We start seeing bigger investment from institutions like BlackRock. If we start seeing BlackRock flooding in, or at least even just, to be honest, tentative step in the water, toes in the water, that's probably enough that the real world asset market within crypto starts rising nicely. That's one way. The other way is that we simply see begin to see changes in regulation that gives clarity as to how such assets can be involved within the DeFi world. Now, realistically, the first situation is far more likely than the latter. Because I cannot trust a politician to be able to make sense of a DeFi space. They can barely make sense of how to do the rules of the road. I cannot trust them to create regulation that's going to have clarity with regards to DeFi. They don't even understand what DeFi is. So I still think Iost has legs to do quite well. Its all-time high was 13 odd cents, and that was when it launched back in 2018. Last bull cycle, it went to about 7 cents, maybe even 8 cents, maybe even tickled 8 cents. But all in all, that's quite a downtrend, technically. Now, granted, it launched when the bull cycle ended in 2017-18. So I don't know how much we can trust that initial all-time high, but if we do trust it, then we have to assume downtrend. If we assume downtrend, then we have to look at this and go, well, it's not going to break the high of 2021. 2021 was roughly 8 cents, so let's take a proportion off of that. Let's say, and you can range anywhere from 20 to 80%. That's kind of the range that you can go with. I would be looking at 4 or 5 cents as a very fair target here. If you see, again, tentative steps from big financial institutions starting to get into the real world asset space, then you could be looking at a new all-time high for Iost. But right now, I simply don't think we're going to get any kind of regulation clarity. So I think we're still 5 years, maybe 10 years away from real world asset tokenization truly being a thing. I think there are steps in the right direction, but all in all, I think we're too far away. So then we're looking at 4 or 5 cents. If BlackRock gets involved, maybe this all-time high. But yeah, they're my thoughts. That's my food for thought. Yeah, you know what? Question. How do you guys see real-world asset tokenization working? How do you see politicians explaining this or creating laws, regulation that makes sense? Can you see a world that even happens? Curious. Yeah, and look, channel's really close to 90,000 subscribers. That's all thanks to you guys. I really want to get over that threshold. All I need for that is a little bit more help from you guys. If you're not a subscriber, just click the subscriber button. It will take you literally a second, and it hugely helps the channel. And guys, look, we're in a bull cycle right now. If you've got coins you're not happy with, or if you don't own any cryptos, go on to CopyMyCrypto.com. On my site, you will see some of my past successes. You will see some of the profits my members made, some of my members' testimonials. These are all on the history of this channel. You can verify them all. On the site, I share with my members every single coin I own. When I'm ready to buy or sell any crypto, I tell my members the crypto that I'm going to be buying or selling and the price that I'm going to be buying or selling at. So all my members get in and out of coins at the same price as me. They make the same profit. They have no work to do. And if you're interested in finding out the cryptos that I own, the ones I think are going to be the big winners of this bull cycle, like I predicted with so many of these, whether it was Chainlink that did a 15x, or KuCoin that did a nearly 29x, or engine that did a 52, or Phantom that did a 677x. That was the last bull cycle. You want to find out the coins I own right now? All you've got to do to find out is join up. And if you do, I'll see you there. Otherwise, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.